am Sue Webley. Welcome to another episode of Inspire. Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Inspire. I'm so glad that I've seen you coming on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Twitch, and all the places that we are, YouTube, everywhere. Do me a great big favor as you are coming on. Do me a favor and share our conversation this morning because I'm so excited to have our amazing guest, Debra Vines, with us today. So I'm going to be shouting y'all. Do me a favor, also shout yourself out. Let me know where you're watching from, so I can shout you out. I like to shout out folk here on Inspire, and so I'm going to ask that you do that because I don't know that you're here unless you shout yourself out. Okay, if you've just joined us, you don't know who I am, what Inspire is all about. I'm your host, Sue A. Webley. I believe in the power of words, wisdom, and witness, and that is exactly what Inspire is all about. So each and every Saturday, we have amazing guests. We have entrepreneurs, creatives, thought leaders, nonprofit organizers, all amazing guests who are working tirelessly to create change in their lives, in their communities, and in the world. And so I'm so grateful for all of you who join us every Saturday morning. I always say that if you're joining us from the Midwest or the West Coast, I know that you love me because it is very early in the morning in those places. So thank you for joining us. I want you to do me a favor while you're coming on and getting ready to share and be in this conversation with me. I want you to do me a favor and connect, follow, like, and subscribe. Connect, follow, like, and subscribe. Now, if you've been following us on Cara Solutions LLC, thank you so much. We are still going strong. We originally started Inspire under the Cara Solutions brand, and we are still under Cara Solutions, but we are also expanding the Inspire with Sue W platform. And so I invite you to follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Inspire with Sue W. Also, you can head over to our website at www.getinspired.live. There you can watch all of our previous episodes, find out a little bit more about the show, and subscribe to our newsletter so that you don't miss anything that's happening with Inspire. So listen, you see, birthday girl. I had to wear my little birthday shirt this morning because it is my birthday. Well, it was my birthday this week, but I'm going to celebrate until the end of November. So Sag Nation, if you're a Sagittarius, shout yourself out in the comments. And I am, so if you know me long enough, you've been watching the show long enough over the years, you know, I'm not home. So I'm hanging out with my daughter. We had Thanksgiving together and First People's Day. And I'm so grateful to be able to come on and hang out with family here in Indy. So do me a favor again. I see you coming in. Shout yourself out. I want to know who you are. Let me go over here to the comments right quick. Hey, Minister Sandy, it's so good to see you. Good morning. Listen, you are already ahead of the curve. Hey, Keita. Good morning there, sister. Listen, so I always ask this in the mornings. And I'm going to ask my guest when she comes on. But what are you sipping on this morning? Is it coffee? Is it tea? Is it water? Listen, if it's something stronger, I'm not judging you. But you know, I have decaf coffee in my cup. And this is my cup this morning. This is actually my daughter's cup. It has some bees on it. And so this is what I am sipping my coffee out of this morning. So let me know what you're sipping. Akita, what you sipping on? Let me know. Let me know. Oh wait, caramel tea with spicy honey. Man, sister, I gotta try that. Spicy honey. So what does it have in the what is the spice, Minister Sandy? What's the spice that's in that honey? Because I want to try it. That sounds so good. Is it like a chai spice? Is it like what kind of spice? Is like a what kind of the pepper is not it's not coming to my brain right now. But let me know what kind of spice is in that honey. All right. So we have again just come out of Thanksgiving. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, right? But you know, many of us use the time to kind of gather with friends and gather with members of our community, and we also revere the First People's Day, and remember that during this time the season is kind of layered, right? So yes, we have celebration, yes, there's reflection and gratitude, but there's also accountability. All living in the same space, and it's okay. Like we can have all of these things going on at the same time. And as we look around our nation, right, there is so much to hold. There's so much to hold. We're watching major budget cuts impacting disability services, special education, caregiver support, and mental health programs across multiple states. And we're seeing parents navigate a public school crisis with shortages in special education teachers and staff are leaving families stretched thin. And let me add that, and I'm sure many of you have seen it, so we know nursing has been declassified as a professional profession, right? Teaching is also being declassified. Uh, Therapy, a therapist, all of those things are being declassified. Listen, I just, like I said last week, my sibling also says like, that man just makes my butt itch, okay? Because it's this infallible to me that all of this stuff is being allowed to happen. I never thought that I would see all of these things taking place in our country right now. And so, when we look at families, raising children, especially those raising children with disabilities, right, are feeling the weight of systems that still require them to fight for basic access, dignity, and care. And yet, in moments like these, we always rise, right? In moments like these, we see people rise, we see people build, see people who love their communities so fiercely that they change the landscape. And that's exactly who we are talking to today. Let me put her beautiful face up on the screen. Our amazing guest, Debra Vines, who's the founder and CEO of The Answer Inc. The Answer Inc. Whether you know her from CNN Top 10 Heroes Honors, her TED Talk, her policy work with SB 226, or from her deep work in the community, our guest is a woman who turned her own journey as a mother into a lifeline for thousands. Again, she's the founder and the CEO of The Answer Inc., an organization that has served over 4,000 families affected by autism and developmental differences. She's a truth teller, a bridge builder, a fierce advocate, and a joyful presence wherever she goes. And I want all of you to please join me in welcoming the amazing Debra Vines to Inspire. Good morning, Debra.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me, birthday queen.
Uh, Thank you for being here. It is such an honor for me to have you here. And it's funny. it's like maybe not funny, but timely because I've been having these conversations over the last couple of days. We just met someone last night that has an autistic son, and I was just like, "Well, you need to watch the show this morning, right?" So all of these conversations have just been coming up, and I think it's just it's in the ether, it's in the atmosphere, right? For
Yes.
this conversation to really take place this morning. But before we get into it, we like to start off with what you're sipping on. So, Deborah, what are you sipping on this morning?
Well, this is the cup that I drink drink every morning, and it's Black women are essential because we are. And
Oh,
every morning
can we see
before
that?
I
Show,
come,
put it up. Let me
okay,
put you. Yep. Let me put you.
can you see it? Okay, Black women are
Yes.
essential
Yes. I love it. I love
because
it.
we are. And every morning because I'm 67 and I'm not playing with life.
First of
And
all, pause. Pause. Let me put you back on. Okay. Do y'all see? Man. Beautiful.
I can't blame it on anything but jeans and God. No, I can take a little bit of credit because I am really intentional on taking care of myself and eating
Yeah.
green, and because I can't be good to anyone else if I'm not good to myself. So every
Absolutely.
morning I drink hot water with fresh ginger and honey.
Hot water with fresh
That's what I
ginger.
drink. And
I
it
love it.
actually detoxes the system. It gives you that energy boost that you need. I tell you, hot water by itself, and I drink hot water before I go to bed. And it,
Mm.
actually helps your digestive system for you to sleep well and things like that. I tell you, I am super holistic. And
Oh,
especially the older that I get,
yeah.
it's so many processed foods out here. And even as being a mom of an adult son that has autism,
Yeah.
and being an advocate, I have to lead by example. So if I'm
Yeah.
not taking care of myself and taking care of Jason, we are very adamant in this household about how we eat and what we eat. That's why Thanksgiving is a great day for me. But
Hmm.
with all that different food, dressing, macaroni and cheese, sweet potatoes, that I don't eat that. I just don't. I mean,
Yeah.
I had to have me some macaroni and cheese. I'm sorry. I had to have some mac and cheese, but
Mm.
and I suffer from it too because the inflammation from the cheese and the milk
Mhm.
and eggs and all those other things. So I'm very adamant. Everybody get down how they live, and as
Yeah.
I get older, I understand how my body talks to me, and I don't live to eat. I eat to live.
Oh, wonderful. Listen, you are already dropping some gems this morning right off the back. So thank you for sharing that. Listen, at 67, look at how you look. And it's really important, especially as we get older,
Yes.
to kind of
'Cause
lean into taking
I
care of
ask
ourselves.
God, for 100 years, 100 happy, healthy, to be and also to be able to wear my stilettos, my 4-inch and 5-inch stilettos until the day I die. Because my shoes bring me joy.
We're going to talk about joy a little bit,
I
but I'm glad to know that your
I
shoes
would
bring you
not
joy.
submit to a kitten heel. I would not submit to a kitten heel. I would not submit to a kitten heel. The taller the heel, the closer to God. I'm sorry. I'm just That's just my high heels are my joy.
Mm, I love it. I love it. Well, how tall are you since we're talking about high
I'm
heels?
5'10". And so when I have my heels on, I'm like maybe 6'1", something like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
Who
Okay.
cares?
Listen, listen. So that's just a testament. Listen, even if you're tall, because I'm 5'11", right? You
Yeah.
can still wear a good heel.
Exactly, because I mean I've been tall all my life. I was the
Mhm.
tallest girl in my 8th grade graduating class. No one could march with me because I was the tallest girl in the class. So
Oh wow.
I just take my height and I'm grateful for it because it's what God gave me. And
Yeah,
when you're taller, you're seen more. So
that is true. That is true. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. So let's talk a little bit about your origin story, right? So your journey began when your son Jason was diagnosed with autism in 1989. And so what moved you from searching for answers to becoming the answer for other families?
You know that's so that's this question comes up so much, so because I have always been a resourceful person. Friends would call me and say, "Hey, where can I get a good pair of shoes? Where can I go to that place?" So I've always been that person to get information. And as I started going through this journey with Jason, it took my late husband and I on up and down roller coasters, up and down roller coasters. And just to be very clear, Jason's 38 years old, and
Mhm.
when Jason was diagnosed, the numbers were 1 in 1,000.
Wow.
So it's 1 in 1,000 people that have autism, right?
Mhm.
But I just don't think those numbers were correct. They just weren't diagnosed, right? But
Mhm.
the resources weren't there. And for so many years, my husband and I just suffered and suffered and suffered because we didn't have any support from anywhere, anywhere. It was like we were leopards in a community that weren't coming out. And that's the best way that I can put it.
Yeah.
And so I was working for uh, um, youth or well, I'm not gonna say youth organization, but an organization called Ceasefire, and it was to combat violence in the community and things like that. And that funding ran out, and God had already given me the vision for the answer in 2003. But we don't listen to God. Sometimes we get real hard headed, and and then the funding ran out, and I told my husband, I said, I don't think I want to work for anyone else anymore. I want to help families to navigate the system the way that we have. And my
Mhm.
husband was like, "Well, how we gonna eat?" Because you have to know we
That's the
are
question.
two. I said, "Listen, both of us are God fearing people,
Mhm.
and I just believe that this is a journey that is going to be some ups and downs in our personal household, right?
Yeah.
But it's a God's journey.
Yeah.
And since then, God has showed up and shown out. We have not missed a beat. We have not missed a meal. We have not missed mortgages. We have not missed payments. And sometimes, so I I know it's God because I can't see where the money came from and how things
Mhm.
happened. And I
Yeah.
have to pay homage to my late husband, James Harlan, who made it possible for me to be able to navigate this life um, of this the disability world, DDID world, full time and not work a job.
Yeah.
Because for a very long time I made less than a public aid check.
Wow.
I'm very, very serious. I mean, my check was $1,000 a month, but even sometimes I poured that $1,000 back into the organization so that we can be able to empower families to be able to come out, be seen, and because see that's the thing in our community.
Yeah.
We such proud people, right? We're very proud people, but
Yeah.
sometimes the Bible says the pride becomes before the fall.
Mhm.
And we can't be prideful. We can't gatekeep. We have to come out and say, "Hey, this is my kid. He might be carrying an oxygen tank. He might have meltdowns. Things might happen, but we have to continue to introduce our children and our adult children. I say adult children
Yes.
to the community, and then they will get used to us, right? Because the numbers are growing every single day. Now it's 1 in 37.
Wow.
But
Wow.
at the same time, so as the numbers are growing, we're having issues in our school systems. We're having, although there are more resources, and I have to say this, there are more resources available now when than when Jason was diagnosed. We have
Mm.
ABA, we
Mhm.
have speech therapy, we have occupational therapy, behavior therapy, play therapy. We have so many things that are available to families, but you have to put the work in, and you can call the Answer Incorporated because we will help you navigate your way through that system.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Listen, you bet the plug, okay? If you need help, call the answer. If you just joined us, we are speaking with Debra Vines, the founder and CEO of The Answer Incorporated, and she is already dropping some gems. If you have a question or a comment for Deborah, please go ahead, post that in the chat, and I'll be sure to make sure that she's able to have the opportunity to answer those questions before we end our time together today. So thank you for sharing all that we've
So
shared so far, Deborah, because I was going to ask, like, how was it back in 1989? Yeah, that wasn't a common diagnosis for autism. Was it called
it
autism?
wasn't. So it wasn't. When so Jason was meeting all his milestones. He was a preemie. So let me start there. He was a preemie. I had Jason at 24 weeks. And I didn't even know I was pregnant until I was like 4 months. So I had him at 6 months. And the doctor said, well, he's probably going to have some developmental challenges, da 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 da, after he was born at 24 weeks. And I was like, Lord, have mercy. You know that I like to move around and we're going to have to work this out, God. I mean, I was having some real candid conversations with God. And, things just got really, really challenging. However, um, my husband and I, we were lost. We were just lost because all we heard about as it relates to autism was Rain Man. That was it. I mean, and when the
Yeah.
doctor said, "Well, and it's so funny too because I was at one of my friends' house and she said, Deborah, I think Jason has autism. I said, oh, what? Oh, who? And so and back then we didn't have access to computers and internet and things like we do now. So your girl is resourceful. And it was a computer shop right next door to the apartment complex where my husband and I live. And I'm just a builder. And so when they would throw out computer um, um, equipment, I would get it. And I built me a computer and I started researching autism. And everything that came up about autism was not in under resourced communities. All they had was what the definition was, what you can do, and things like that. So I didn't see anything that looked like me. That look like me. I mean, even as it relates to going to the schools with Jason and things like that. Okay, you would pass by the parents and they would pick up the packages for their kids and things like that. But I did not see anything in the community that looked like me, even in stores. But when I would go in, and let's just be real transparent. Can I be real transparent?
Oh yeah, please, please.
When I would go in white communities or other ethnicity communities, they had their kids out with oxygen tanks. I mean, they were there. And we in our community, we are just we're prideful people. We're prideful people. And no, not never to throw no shade on my culture because I'm a black woman and I love being a black woman. But in our culture, one thing that we have to just be real intentional about is the truth is the truth. And the only way that we can heal someone else is to expose our truth and how we live. And so I began to just take Jason everywhere I went, whether he had a meltdown, whatever. I just handled it right there in the stores, in the community, or whatever, because I said, if I'm going to do this, I have to be very intentional and very transparent about my life, right?
Yeah.
And the answer is not about me, it's about what we do.
Yeah.
But I have to be, what is the saying? You have to lead by example. And I had to lead by example. And sometimes I'm gonna be just real transparent. Sometimes it was embarrassing.
Mhm.
Sometimes it was like, oh my God, I'm out here just exposing myself with my son having these meltdowns. And but I had to equip him. So let's go to that. I had to equip him. And I didn't even realize what I was doing. But I had to equip him as parents. You spoke about your daughter. And when God gives us these amazing children, whether they're special needs or no needs, we have to equip them to be the best that they can be. And so, what does that mean? So that means teaching them how to integrate into community, teaching them how to be the best that they can be with their social skills, personal skills, and everything else. And so, I began to start that journey with Jason.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you something. I am so proud of Jason because the doctor said that he would not live, he would not, and then if he lives, he would not walk, he would not talk, he would not communicate. Jason does have limited language, but trust and believe he understands what he wants and what he doesn't want.
Yeah.
Before he gets up in the morning and goes to the bathroom, he makes his bed because we have rules around here. He washes dishes, he sweeps the floor, he empties the garbage. Now, his cognitive ability is not to live on his own,
Mhm.
but he does have social skills where even when I send him to camps or weekend respites and things like that, he's always welcome because, and I am so adamant about this saying, how your kids act at home is how they act out.
Yeah.
And so when we're at home, we do table settings, we do everything. Because I tell you, although I asked God for 100 years, he can call me home after we get through with this podcast.
Right.
And I have equipped Jason to be the best that he can be, to where when he comes into a room, you're not saying, oh my God, here comes this kid. Let's be real. Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of, and I'm not just talking about special
Mhm.
needs kids. There's a lot
Yeah.
of kids that come to, we just got past Thanksgiving. And you see a family come in and be like, oh my God, here they come. Because they have not equipped their children to be the best that they can be in a social setting. And
Mm.
the social setting starts at home.
It does. Thank you for sharing that. What came up for me is, well, one, I appreciate that you started this organization because there are many parents that just don't know how. Like they just don't know what to do. They don't know how, and so I appreciate organizations like yours that exist to help parents and caretakers really care for and nurture their children who are, well, I'm not going to call it a challenge, but who are just differently able, right? They're just different.
Differently
That's
able.
all
I like
it
that.
is. They're
Differently able.
differently able. And also the other thing that came up for me is the importance of helping your children feel like they are not different, right? There is a difference, right? But you are still able to navigate in your own unique way, able to navigate society, able to do these things for yourself. Um and I think, and if any parent is here who has a differently able child and you want to chime in, please go ahead and do so. But I think that there's like a level of frustration, and I know you can speak to the frustration, right? Especially
Oh my God.
this level of frustration
Oh
that
my
comes with doing that. Talk to us about that frustration a little
Well,
bit.
before we go into the frustration, I would like to share with the viewing audience what the Answer Incorporated does. I mean,
Mhm.
my personal journey is the journey that started the Answer Incorporated, but the Answer Incorporated provides support, resources, education, recreation, advocacy, social skills, and workforce development, not just for families living with autism, but developmental difference across the board. And I'm going to say the reason why I say developmental differences across the board, because a lot of our children and adults are dually diagnosed. For instance, we
Mhm.
have children and adults that have ADD, they have Down syndrome, they have other developmental differences, but it has a touch of autism as well. They're dually diagnosed. So we did not want to leave anyone out. We didn't want to leave anyone out of the equation, and we've started with so many different programs that have not helped children and adults, but have helped the parents as well. Because my main goal, Sue, was to empower the parents. Because I'm just going to be totally honest. I did not have any friends, anyone that I can call outside of my personal circle that understood what I was going through on a daily basis, right? So when we start to answer, I promise you, I have a whole new set of sisters from all over the country that we pour into each other, because it's not, this is something that we live daily. And I'm not going to say it's a challenge. I'm just going to use the word journey again. It gets challenging, right? It gets challenging because Jason, again, Jason's 38 years old. And just imagine, when your kids get when they're growing up, you send them away to college, they get married, they do this, they do that, they live on their own. But when I every decision that I make, I have to think about Jason first, and I just let him sleep today because, my baby loves to sleep. But saying that to say this, once he gets up, I have to, navigate his life,
Yeah.
and his life navigates around mine. So, and that's 38 years. 38 years. You have a daughter. When you go to your daughter's house, she probably had Thanksgiving dinner laid out for you and things like that. Mom, here's your chair. Here are all the things that make you feel good and things like that. But I have to make things feel good for Jason. And as I navigated my way, even through Thanksgiving, I have to be cognitive of how many people are going to be in houses that
Yeah.
Jason is in. I'm always very intentional on letting people know what Jason's triggers are and things like that. We have to be so um, transparent about what our kids do. And it's like, and I'm segueing into another area of that
Mhm.
right now. Is that okay?
That's fine. Go ahead.
So, because we're in the holiday season. And so, I stress to families that before you go to your family's gatherings, let them know what your kids' triggers are. Let them know. Be totally transparent about, hey, because I know Jason can't stand to hear babies crying. I can't either. But I know how to redirect myself. And he's gotten but much better with that. But at the same time, and my friends, and I thank God for my village because they know I don't give Jason pop, juice, all those things. We don't have that in our house, no sugary products. But when he goes to social outings, I'll give him that. I give him. I'll let him have a couple of sprites, right? But my village is say, "Hey, Deborah, Jason just got another sprite." So that's because I've let them know what I don't do at home,
Right.
and we have to just be totally honest with what's going on in our lives because, a lot of our families we just keep secrets. And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say why. I'm gonna say why. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Because we don't want people to be afraid of our kids.
Mm.
We don't want them to be afraid of what might happen because behaviors happen and sometimes they explode. Sometimes they get really just irate. They do. But at the same time, if we have those conversations with our families, with our friends, with community, and everyone is so used to Jason now. I mean, I've taken him to Springfield. He's in board meetings. He's everywhere in the community with me. And so now everyone knows Jason. And so now I have a village that parents with me when
Yeah.
I'm in the community. They do. He has like a slew of aunties, a slew of aunties. And I can just kind of navigate my way around because I've also taught Jason how to sit properly, um, not to just gobble down food, to total etiquette, put your napkin in your lap, things like that. But when he gets to the point where he's going back to the cooler way too many times, getting another pop, here comes one of the aunties saying, Deborah, Jason's getting another pop. So, like I said, we can't be transparent. We can't we can't expect the community to love on us if we haven't just shown them everything that's going on with our kids.
Yeah, and I imagine that's really hard to do, um, especially for Black parents. It's really hard to
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
And again, going back, there's a mindset that maybe I'm alone in this, right? Maybe I can't get the support. I see how all these other organizations, these white-led organizations, are just kind of
Mhm.
showing up and showing out for their children, and maybe I don't have the support. Maybe I'm in an unserved or underserved community. I don't have that support. My child just looks, everybody looks at my child as that they're a problem, right?
Yeah. Well,
And so,
although the communities are underserved, but at the same time, and I'm going to say this until the day I die, the parents, it's the parents. They have to do the work. Oftentimes I found that what happens is, our kids are with teachers, and shout out to educators. Anyone that's on this feed that is an educator, shout out to you, acknowledgement to you, love to you. Because when you think about this, Sue, our children was with their teachers straight for 7 hours. How many of us actually spend 7 hours with our children one on one? Let's be honest. We don't. We're navigating our other children. We're navigating our own lives. We're cleaning, we're cooking, we're doing other things, we're working and things like that. But educators have our kids all day long. So I'm going to say this, make your teacher your best friend because it's a part of your village.
Yeah.
It's a part of the village. And I didn't realize that so until, because I had a lot of challenges with my own life after Jason was diagnosed because I was doing well, doing great. I mean, my oldest son, 13 years old, and then here comes Jason. But at the same time, after going through those challenges, here comes the answer. So, one of my main, I would say, um, the main things that I love to say to families is just be honest.
Yeah.
Be honest. I have conversations with so many families. That's why, I explained to you earlier, we were talking. I said, girl, I get 1,000 emails a day. And I'm grateful for that because when my husband and I started to answer, one of the reasons why we started to answer is because I would call organizations and never get a live person. Oh, we'll call you back. We'll call you back. And I will get a call back maybe 2 or 3 days later. But I'm in crisis right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm in crisis right now. And so that's why I say I don't sleep by now. And God allows me to get the time that I need to rest. But I
Yeah.
just want to be that catalyst for in that listening ear, and just God has expanded this project, this ministry. I'm not gonna say project, this ministry.
Mhm.
He's expanded this ministry all over the world. I get calls from all over the country for support, because we need that support. I mean,
Yeah.
even if we need support in so many areas. If you're going through some stuff with your husband, you call up their girlfriend, listen, da 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 da. But the ID and DD community, we need that village to just be honest with someone that understands what we are going through. I mean, I can call you soon and say, girl, Jason did blah 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 blah, and you will support me as a sister, but you don't understand. You don't understand that what really happens in those situations. So to have that village, and I'm going to say to the listener on this, please, please, please create a village, because again, we are prideful people, but we have to be very transparent as to what's going on in our families' lives.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing. There's some questions coming in, and I'm going to make sure that you have the opportunity to respond to them before we end our time together today.
Let's
But we are
go.
going to take a quick break. We're
I
going to take a quick
I
break.
love interaction interviews. I do. I love interaction interviews.
Yeah, so we're going to take a quick break for you to take a sip of your hot water, and we'll be right back with some more conversation with the amazing Deborah Vines. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us. I want to invite you again to connect, follow, like, and subscribe. We are at Inspire with Sue W on Facebook and on Instagram. You can also head up to our website at www.getinspired.live. There you can watch all of our previous episodes, find out a little bit more about the show, and also subscribe to our newsletter so that you don't miss a thing that's happening with Inspire. Also, are you or someone you know on a mission to create change while inspiring others to do the same? Well, we want to hear from you. I want to hang out with you in this virtual platform. I want to have be in conversation with you. Want you on a future episode of Inspire. So you can again head over to our website, www.getinspired.live. click on the Be Our Guest tab. You can fill out that intake form, and a member of our team will get back to you so that we can have you on Inspire in the future. Also, listen, Walking Heavy, the Walking Heavy show. That is the other show that I am one of the hosts for, along with Rennie and Q. We are back this coming Friday, next Friday, I'm sorry, Friday, December 5th. We are back at 7 p.m. to talk about all the things, talking about stuff that's happening in the world, happening, and the craziness that's happening in some of our faith communities. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Our guest is Reverend Tanya Jackson, and she is the founder uh, of A Time for You LLC. And please join us. Please join us. We're going to be on this page, on these pages as well. Also at Walking Heavy Show on Facebook and Instagram, and also on YouTube. We'll do this every single Saturday that we are live until our sibling in community gets a kidney. Our dear sibling needs a kidney. Yanni, Reverend Yanni, Peace Pastor, however you know Yanni. If you don't know her now, you know her, right? She needs a kidney donor. She's in search of potential donors who are fairly healthy, who have the blood types A or O, the courage to commit to surgery and save her life. And she'd love to share the safety measures with you. Alternatively, if you know of a resource, of an organization, of somewhere that we can connect her to help her, please, please, please send that information to us at Inspire, and we will get it to her. You can also contact her and her family directly at peacepeopleinc@gmail.com. That's peacepeopleinc@gmail.com. Or you can head over to EmeryLivingDonor.org. EmeryLivingDonor.org. Fill out the survey and then enter her name, Ayana Davis. Listen, we believe in doing things in community, and I know that working together, we can help Yanni get the kidney that she so desperately needs. We are going to get back into some more conversation with the amazing Debra Vines. Welcome back, Debra. Thank you again for being here and hanging out on Inspire with us today.
I'm glad to be here. I see that we're running a long time, but I definitely want to be able to share um, what the answer has done since 2007.
Mhm.
So once we started the support group, we segued into education because when Jason um, aged out of school at 22, he did not have number recognition, letter recognition, name recognition, any of those things. So I was the manager of the program for leader Senator Lightford, and she had a Spectrum, not Spectrum, Saturday University, where she expanded upon programs, reading, writing, and math programs. And I asked the senator, I said, Senator, I feel like I'm doing my community an injustice. And she said, let's go. And so we created Spectrum University. And Spectrum University is a program that we have each and every Saturday from 10 to 1 that focuses on reading, writing, math, social skills, workforce development. And I tell you, our students have thrived so much. I have seen students that weren't really speaking or engaging, just really coming through and just thriving. Their educational skills have increased. And so everything that the answer does is the blueprint of the parents, and starting from with me and then the other parents, because I'm definitely a listener of the needs of our families. And so I don't have a girl. I don't have any girls. I have two boys. But I think about good touch, bad touch. I think about that women as a whole, we're all victims all the time. All of us have gone through childhood trauma of uncles, um, people coming in, touching us the way we don't want to be touched, saying things that are inappropriate. So I wanted to make sure that our DD and ID children and adults knew what good touch, bad touch is, how to go into a restaurant and sit down and put their napkins and their forks and things in the right place, how to eat properly, how to sit properly. And so we have a program called Spectrum Social Life. And then and it was so amazing because I mean the first one that we did, we had Jocelyn Gonzalez, who was the sixth season winner of America's Next Top Model.
Mhm.
She has a program that empowers young ladies. And so they were able to take pictures. She taught them how to pose. And so those things are so important, not just to especially to neurodivergent children, but to all of our children. All of us want to feel beautiful. All of us want to feel like we matter. All of us want to feel like we're seen, right? And so we taught them that. And I tell you, those girls walked that runway. They did so many things that it just warmed my heart. And we have so many things going on all over the city of Chicago. We're expanding to Lawndale with Building Brighter Futures. Shout out to Pamela Blackman. Um, just so many things that are going on with our organization in the last 18 years. When I say 18 years, I'm like, oh my God, we've been doing this for 18 years, but so many families are empowered. They're feeling like they're strong where they help other families as well. These
Yeah.
parents are bringing in other parents, and it's like a each one teach one. And we just don't see that in our community as much. We're gatekeepers. I promise you. We won't tell nobody where those shoes came from. We will not tell. We're gatekeepers, but I'm gonna say this that if you hear about something, we share everything on social media. Just share it. Share it if you hear about a resource. Share it if you hear about anything that can help, not just your family, another family, because okay, you got in, but share it. Share it. It's a lot of programs now out here, Sue. UIC, Tamara, All Families United, um, so many organizations now, and I don't gatekeep, the answer can't do it by ourselves.
Yeah.
We can't. And I also have to share this. The amazing Robert Townsend, actor, writer, producer, so many philanthropists. It has chosen the Answer Incorporated and NAACP West Side chapter. And he's coming to Chicago December 6th and 7th to do a film festival and to raise awareness on the social impact that's going on in the community and the Answer Incorporated for autism, because autism is at an epidemic rate right now.
Mhm.
Being great. So I just want to acknowledge my brother, Robert Townsend, for doing this. We have so many things. So I'm sure you're going to share it on your page of the dates. It's December 6th and 7th.
Mhm. Mhm.
Just so many things going on. And then we have our annual pre-Valentine's Day dance that's coming up on the first Saturday in February. And our kids need social skills because our typical children, they have friends, they can go out, they party, they go eat pizza, things like that. So the Answer tries to provide these social outlets, not just for our children and adults, but for families, for parents to get together and say, hey, how you doing? We have to be able to just come together as a community. And
Yes.
what the Answer Incorporated is doing, and
Yes.
we're big on policy change. The Answer has written a couple of bills that have turned to laws. One related to the puns list,
Yes. Yes.
the puns list, and the puns is a resource that when your child is being diagnosed with a disability, you call the state of Illinois, and they will make sure that you're on this list to be able to get services provided for your child, especially once they age out of school, day programs, things like that. You don't have to pay for it out of pocket. And it's a lot of ABA and social skills programs that are out there as well. So you
Mhm.
reach out to the Answer. We have a whole slew of information, and our website is theanswering.org,
Mhm.
and our phone number is 708-272-5255. 2965651. Like I shared earlier, I don't sleep, I nap. I always answer my phone because I want to be there for you. Please don't call me at 1 o'clock in the morning just to have a quick conversation.
We need to give us that the phone number again because it cut off a little bit.
Okay, it's 708-296-5651. And again, so our program is on Saturday, each and every Saturday in Maywood, from 10 to 1. And this is an opportunity. A couple of parents tell me, I just go get my nails done. I drop them off. I go see my sister. I go to the grocery store, or I go get a massage. We don't have those opportunities to just be, right?
Mhm.
So we have to take them, even if it's at 3 hours at a time. We have to just take them for that mental health wellness.
Yeah.
Because I
Amen.
tell you, it's a journey. It's a challenge and it's a journey. But you have to learn how to navigate yourself through that. Even as being a widow now for 7 years, I've never been a single parent. I always had my husband there, to help me. And I'm still learning how to be a single parent. And shout out to single parents. I promise you, I have a whole new respect for single parents. I have never been a single parent, but I have a whole new respect for single parents because I tell you, having to wash, I didn't even know how to work the wash machine. My husband did that. Toiletries. I never bought paper towel, tissue, uh,
Mm.
deodorant, none of that. But my life has changed so much in the last 7 years. And I thank God for my husband. I wish that he was still here, but God does what he does. But at the end of the day, it's still my job to be transparent about my life so that I can help anyone else.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing all that you have shared. I do want to make sure before we ask that last question, because I love to end on joy. I want to make sure that we can answer some of the questions that are in the chat. So Ken and Chris Mitchell, thank you so much for joining us. They want to know, can anyone call your organization to talk and get support?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you call me after this show is over, I will answer my phone and I will help you the best way that I can.
Mhm. Thank you so much. And we'll make sure that I don't. Chuck Jones, thank you for also putting that in the chat. I put that website and that phone number inside of the chat, and I see some of my fam here also helping out the sisters in the chat and putting this stuff in the chat. So thank you, Chuck Jones. I see Chuck Hunt. Thank you for coming in, checking in from Monroe, Louisiana. Thank you for
Oh,
joining
Louisiana,
us
hello,
today.
hello.
So yes, please save that number, Ken and Chris Mitchell.
I'll put it in
And
chat.
yeah. So it's in the chat. The numbers in the chat. The website is in the chat. Please utilize. Please lean into the answer. She's also parenting singly. Or yes, it's no joke. Thank you, Cole. Yeah, Cole. Cole said parenting singly is no joke. Ken and Chris, they are going to call you, Deborah. They're going to call you, and so I'm grateful for your time here today, and your willingness and your openness to talk about this important um, issue. We like to end on joy here in Aspire, and so we know that your work is meaningful, but we also know that it can be emotionally heavy. So, how do you protect your joy? And how do you keep your own cup full while supporting so many others?
And this is something that I've actually just learned, and I'm going through this journey, because one thing that I failed to share is that I'm transitioning Jason to residential.
Mm.
So I'm thinking about what my life is going to be like, not having to get him up in the morning, carrying him around with me all the time. But I love to dance, and I love to dance. So I'm going to start tapping into some of the things that bring me joy, and dancing brings me joy. Dancing, I love massages. I love wellness, and I love loving on my friends. I do. So I'm going to tap into some of that, and just being able to get to the next journey of my life, which is going to be the Autism African on the Move.
Mhm.
I'm going to start my own podcast,
Wonderful.
so that I can do things like this and be able to have transparent conversations with families. So yeah, that's my joy. It
And
is.
shoes
Yeah.
and stilettos.
And shoes. And shoes, I'm a former model, so I modeled for most of my life ever since I was 12 years old. And when I had Jason, everything just stopped. But you know, fashion is my joy. And and I'm gonna say this last thing. That parents, just because we are going through all of the things that we're going through that are challenging, get up in the morning, wash your face, look in that mirror, kiss that mirror, and put some makeup on. Yeah. Put some makeup on, even if it's nothing but lipstick.
Yeah.
Because I promise you, a lot of women aren't big makeup wearers, but it's something about that lipstick that just pops your day. So that is what I do. And when I put my face on, I do all of this before I get Jason out. And
Mm.
it's my joy. It just like pops me, right? It just brings my synergy. Now, somebody else might have something else, but taking care of myself, is what energizes me. And always meditate. Meditate before you get out that bed. Think about what it is that you want to do for the day, not just for you, but for others. Because God just loves a cheerful giver. He loves us being servants. He does. And I have to think about myself sometimes because I'm so adamant about helping others that I forget about myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
make sure that you get selfish about yourself.
Yeah.
Get
Sometimes
selfish.
that is necessary. 100%. Thank you
Uh,
so much for sharing, Deborah. We have already put that website into the chat. Where else can people find you on social media?
Well, I'm on IG, I'm on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, on LinkedIn as well. So you can go to the Answer Incorporated on IG, or you go to my personal website on IG and Facebook. I'm on Facebook, IG, TikTok, and LinkedIn.
And if they put your name in, they can find you, Deborah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
wonderful, wonderful. Well, Deborah, thank you so much for your courage and your
Thank you for
compassion.
having me. Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person one day.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Looking forward to having you back as well.
And
Uh,
shout out to Keita. Shout out to Miss Keita. Shout
yes,
out to Keita.
Peter. Shout out to
My
our
media
sister
strategist. Look, I'm
who's
getting
doing
territorial
her thing.
now. My media strategist.
She's doing her thing, and so we're so grateful for her. But again, it's the ice. Thank you for your transparency, Deborah, and your commitment to, I believe, loving families, kind of loving them and walking with them into wholeness, right? And so you remind us that advocacy is really hard work. It's community work and it is spiritual work. And
Yes.
so, for those of you watching right now, those of you who catch this in the replay, I want you to support the Answer Inc. I want you to share their work, donate if you're able, right? And lift these families in love. And always, as always keep something in your cup, keep joy in your spirit, and keep showing up with truth and tenderness in a world that really needs both. Until next time, I'm your host, Sue A. Webley. I want you to stay lifted. I want you to stay motivated. And most of all, I want you to stay inspired. I look forward to seeing all of you next week. Thank you for joining us. Thank you again, Deborah.
Absolutely. Bye.
Bye
Have a
bye.
wonderful holiday.
You too. You too.